What's going on, everybody? UCF Jaguar back here with GenJag.com, and I have a very special guest with me today. Former Biletnikoff Award winner out of the University of Oklahoma, and second-year Jaguars wide receiver Dede Westbrook. Dede, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just ready to dive into some of these topics. First, I want to ask you, this off-season you actually started up your own clothing brand, Go Crazy. Let me know a little bit about that and what kind of inspired you to start that.
Man, well, Go Crazy, of course, this didn't just start, a year ago, 2 years ago. This is something that came about over time, and with that being said, it's a story behind it. And the storyline, I was like a young boy. I was like 9 years old. I watched my mother struggle raising me, my sister, and my other brother. And it was one night, like 2 o'clock in the morning on a school night. I heard sniffling from the other room, and so I was like, okay, like what is that? And so I get up out of bed, and I walk to the next room over, and I see my mother sitting on the end of the bed, and she's crying, holding a piece of paper in her hand. And so of course I go and I comfort her, and ask her what's going on, what's wrong, and she made me sit down on side the bed with her as she's crying, and she's like, Dede, tomorrow whenever you get out of school, I want you to get your brother and sister and you walk to your aunt's house, because we won't have any lights tomorrow because I don't know how I'm gonna pay the light bill. And so she cried to me at that point, and she made me make a promise to her that night as I was sitting on the edge of the bed, and she was telling me, regardless of what you go through in life, regardless of what obstacles are thrown in front of you, you just promise me that you're going to go crazy in everything you do. And so with that being said, me being 9 years old, I took that into consideration, going, and I used it as far as sports go, as far as my everyday life, you know what I mean? I used it as a motivational term from me and my mother, of us sitting there that night, and from that, 2-time All-American at my junior college, 2-time All-State in high school, went over to the University of Oklahoma, graduated from OU, won a Biletnikoff, Heisman finalist, and got drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and all that comes from the saying as far as Go Crazy.
Oklahoma wideout Dede Westbrook filling the vacancy created by former Sooner and current Giant Sterling Shepard quite nicely. When you watch him, what stands out to you on film?
Jay, it stands out that he's the best receiver in America.
You got me a little emotional over here, man. That's inspiring. But where can they kind of find some of your Go Crazy stuff at?
Right now we have a website for it. Is gocrazyentertainment.shop, and if you are on Instagram or whatever, you can type in Go Crazy ENT12 on Instagram, and the link is in the bio.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about your off season, just because before your rookie year, your last game ends, and all of a sudden you start your NFL preparation. You're going to pro days, combines, you have the draft, and you immediately have rookie mini camp starting up. So you really had a full off season to kind of do what you want to do, as opposed to training for 40-yard dashes and stuff like that. So how do you feel? How do you like your off season?
Oh man, this was the best off season ever. As far as being an athlete, growing up, there's no off season. You know what I mean? And with that being said, you got most kids growing up, they play every different sport. I was one of those kids, from baseball all the way over to football, track and field, and with that being said, you got summer workouts, you know what I mean? You got AAU basketball, you got different things, so there's never really an off season. But for me, in this off season, I just took a load of time of just resting, and letting my body recover, because out of all the football I've played, there's never been a 16-game season, and that's even going into the playoffs in high school or different things like that. Like, this is a long football season, you know what I mean? And so it's just pretty much taking care of your body.
So I want to ask you, just because before you got to the Jaguars, it was a really terrible decade of Jaguars football. It was just losing season after losing season, but this season in 2017, things really turned around, and the whole city just got lit up. And I just want to ask you, what was it like being a part of a Jaguars team that went 10-6, got into the AFC Championship game, and just finally got the fans excited about Jaguars football?
Man, it was dope. The thing was, it's just like, for me, and I see it, when people approach me and they talk to me, they pretty much have their faith in us. You know what I mean? It's like they wake up every day just to pretty much prepare themselves for Sunday for us, for them to stand behind us, you know what I'm saying, and cheer us on, of course, to victory. And I like that is because You know what I'm saying? We giving those people hope. You know what I mean? There's some people out there that's less fortunate and really don't really have anything to look up to but Jaguars football. And for us to go out there and compete the way that we do, and of course bring home wins for not only us but the city, you know what I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I think with the Jaguars, I mean, we don't have a baseball team in town. We don't have a basketball team. So really, the Jaguars are all we got besides our college team. So, I mean, just the Jaguars turning it around, having a great year. It was awesome. But I want to ask you, I mean, you had a terrific preseason. I mean, you had a couple games where you had over 100 yards each. But unfortunately, you did get put on the IR. And just how tough was that, having to, you know, sit while watching the team go out there and battle and seeing that they needed that wide receiver, but they weren't able to kind of access you?
Man, it was tough. That was like probably one of the worst experiences for me. And with that being said, like, I've never really missed a football game before. You know, like when it mattered, I've never missed. You know, I had different aches, different pains, you know, battling different things, but never have I ever missed a game. You know, and of course, with that injury, like lingering on, it was just one of those things that was literally like an accident. You know, I was catching a ball, doing what I normally do in practice, making a move, and when I made a move, I felt something pop, you know, and I was like, okay, that's weird. You know, and me being from the country, like, we just different, you know, and so when it popped, I was just like, okay, like, it ain't nothing. I'll take some ibuprofen, go to sleep, wake up, I'm good to go, you know. And so went to sleep, woke up, and started trying to walk, and I told my roommate, I was like, man, I can't walk. And he was like, you for real? And I'm like, man, I'm dead serious. And so I go to the trainer room or whatever, and they tell me maybe it's a poor growing, you know. And so we go out through the process of that, and then it got to the point where I still couldn't walk and run. Like, I was practicing, but then at the end of practice, it was like I couldn't walk again, you know what I mean? Like, people were helping me into the locker room type of deal. And so we went and got an MRI, and come to find out, you know, I had sports hernia, and it was on both sides, the left and the right side. And so with that being said, I couldn't really run, and it was something that we had to get taken care of right away.
So I was always wondering, when you're on a short-term IR, what's kind of your week-to-week, day-to-day kind of stuff? Do you still go out to practice? Do you go into meeting rooms and that kind of stuff? Or
man, honestly, it's worse than practicing, like regular. For real, you got to be up there. Like, we already got to be up there earlier. The meeting's at like 7 o'clock in the morning, so usually everybody's there about 6:30. You got to eat breakfast or whatnot. But when you injured, you got to be up there at 5:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And so of course that's cutting into your sleep, and you're going home the same time everybody else is going home. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no shortcuts, there's no, you know, and it's just a ton of treatment. You know what I mean? You're doing that same procedure 3 times a day. You know, and then you're going out there to practice with the people that are practicing. Like, you're not, of course, going through the motions that they're going to, but they got you doing something that's beneficial, you know, to of course help your body get back in a stable condition for you to come and play.
obviously the first half of the season you were on the IR, but when you evaluate yourself in your rookie season, how do you feel you did? And just this offseason, what did you really want to work on to improve your game going into 2018?
I think I played decent. Of course, it's not my expectations at all, because for me personally, like, I have goals I set for myself, and you know, I don't usually like to say my goals out loud, because some people look at me like, come on man, you're not going to obtain that, you know what I'm saying? But that's been goals that I've set for myself throughout my life, you know, and every time, like, I reach those goals, you know. And so for myself, my rookie year, now that it's over with, my goals were, of course, to come in, play right away, you know, go be an all-pro punt returner, and also all-pro wide receiver, and win the rookie of the year. But of course, that was set back through my injury. But you know what I mean? Like, I got big expectations and big goals for myself this year. I look at them right before I go to sleep every night to let myself know, like, look, this is what we gotta do. It's obtainable. It's right there.
So obviously in 2018, his goal is to go crazy, which is awesome because it comes right back to your brand. But obviously, your wide receiver coach is Keenan McCardell. He was one of the best Jaguar wide receivers that they've ever had, and we've only had 4 1,000-yard receivers, and he was paired up with Jimmy Smith. I mean, what is it like having a former player that really played a position at such a high level to be your position coach?
Man, it's actually dope. You know what I mean? And when I say that, it's because, like I said before, I came from a small town, and then I went to junior college, you know what I'm saying? Then I went to the University of Oklahoma. So no disrespect to my coaches, you know what I mean? Because they've taught me a lot of things along the way. But in high school, my wide receiver coach never played wide receiver. You know what I mean? Going over to my junior college, I didn't have a wide receiver coach. My offensive coordinator, who played quarterback, was the quarterback's coach and was directing us at wide receiver how he thought we should run a route. You know what I mean? And then going over to OU, Coach Simmons, he played linebacker in college, you know, and he converted over to wide receiver coach. So coming to the NFL is my first time ever having a wide receiver coach, a coach that plays my position to coach me, you know, and he tells me all the time, like, Dede, you're built of raw talent, you know what I mean? Because somebody, of course, not having that access to go and talk to somebody as far as like what you should do as far as technique, running routes, you know, dropping your weight, different things like that, and you coming in, you play at the level you play, and you make the plays that you play, or to make the plays that you make, or whatever, it's just, you know, a gift. And so I get that a lot from him, and with that being said, he's forming me into a dog receiver. Yeah,
because I was to say, I see him on these mic'd up videos out there running routes with you guys, and he's out there just talking the talk, which is, you know, pretty funny. But I want to ask you, kind of inside the locker room kind of thing, who do you feel is the funniest player on the Jaguars since you've been on the team?
Leonard.
Leonard?
Yeah, Leonard.
Yeah, I hear he's got jokes for everybody.
He always got a joke. I mean, there's never really a dull moment with him. It's him and TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon?
Yeah.
He always just seems so quiet and stuff.
But he funny as hell. We said inside the locker room. He funny as hell.
That's funny. So last question. One thing I like about you is that we actually share each our favorite rapper, Lil Wayne. You know, I've liked his stuff all the way from, you know, the Carter to even his mixtapes like No Ceilings and, you know, Sorry for the Wait. What would you say your favorite album from Lil Wayne is?
The Carter.
The Carter?
Yeah, Carter 3.
All right, so that's our interview with Dede Westbrook. Thanks so much for joining me today, and watch out for him coming into 2018.
Last name ever, first name greatest, like a sprained